Wait, all right, wacky teacherpreneurs. Today's episode is going to be all about what if TPT collapses and we need to have a new plan. Right now, we are a little scared that this could happen with the expansion of AI, and we're both living in these apocalyptic universes in our Zooms right now. Amanda's kind of looks like a secret garden went wrong, like a secret garden at Chernobyl. It doesn't look very good. And mine is like a room in Chernobyl. There's all these gas masks, and we're just thinking, what if? Like, worst case scenario, your TPT store disappears tomorrow, you start making $0. What could you do if that happens? Because I know Amanda believes it's going to happen quicker than I do. Amanda thinks in the next year or two, TPT is going bye bye and AI is taking over and you're not going to make any more money. I think it's going to be more like 5 to 10 years. So I'm a little more optimistic than Amanda, but we both have really strong ideas and opinions on what would be best for a teacher entrepreneur. So I'm going to ask Amanda, what do you think a teacher should do in this case? Like, is it worth pouring more into a TPT store at this point, or do you think people should diversify and maybe grow other aspects of their business? What do you think? What's your opinion?
This is such a, why did you start with me? Um, yeah, I mean, I don't want this to happen. I really love TPT. It's what got me started, as an entrepreneur. Like I didn't I didn't know that I was an entrepreneur until TPT. And I feel like that teacherpreneur name, that word, didn't it sort of start when TPT started? So this is not something we want to have happen. Like we really don't. And I'm hoping that the top executive people at TPT are talking about this and how they're going to pivot and navigate all of this. Like that's my number one hope. And the reason I think it's going to happen faster than Jess does is because I've been talking to a technologist, someone who's really, really knowledgeable about all of this. And that's what he's saying. He's like, this is probably not going to last, this website. And it really got me pretty anxious. And I think that there's a lot of things that teacherpreneurs have already done, I think, to prepare and without even really realizing it. And I think one of those things, well, and like social media, right? Like, remember Periscope? We thought that was going to be around forever, and it went bye bye, right? Like, so this has happened before, right? Where things have come and gone and things have changed, like Facebook groups and Instagram has changed and has reels. And like, I feel like entrepreneurs, we have to be able to pivot. We have to be able to evolve and change. And I think both of our businesses have evolved in various ways. So I think like the first thing is just remembering that that's part of the journey of an entrepreneur is changing with the times. Um, and so I guess that makes it like a little less scary because we're all in this together and this is part of our job, right? To pivot. Um, but like one way that I feel like we prepared without even realizing it is, well, you're probably going to hate me for saying this, but having your own website. Like, I think that's really important because you have your own home. You know what I
I
mean?
don't, and I'll argue with you on this one.
Okay, let's argue. Let's argue. Let's do it. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I have been reading articles lately about how blogging and websites are dead
They're
because
disappearing
of
too.
AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're disappearing. So I think pouring all of your time, like having a home place, sure, but like having all your content on there, all you're doing is giving your content away to AI. So
Yes.
someone
I
else can
agree.
feel it. So I don't know. I don't know if really having a website is as important as it was 10 years ago. And I got rid of mine a few years ago as I was just sick of maintaining it, sick of updating it, and I wasn't really getting as much feedback as I was on social media, which I do realize social media can disappear at any point.
But when you have a website, it's not just a website, it's the email list, right? Like that you're building. So it's like a home that you have a way to contact your people so that you could offer other things beyond your products, like coaching, for example, person to person connection with the schools that you're helping or the teachers that you're helping. Um, which, by the way, I have not had an email opt-in on my website for a few years now. So I'm like breaking my own rules because email marketing, that's a whole other story, is a whole other, like world. But these are just some of the ideas, like having an email list, like offering other more person-to-person connection with your customer beyond your lessons that you're selling. Do you have other ideas of how to prepare? What do you think? Um, just like if teachers
Well, I think
disappeared.
I do see your consulting idea where I think more and more schools with teaching becoming kind of an ephemeral profession where people are only teaching for 5 or 6 years on average now, and then they're leaving the classroom because it's so challenging. I think schools are looking more and more for people to help with consulting, teaching teachers how to be better teachers because time is sort of the essence where we're not seeing an aging workforce and teaching. We're getting a lot of new teachers in, and they are probably only going to stay for a short amount of time. So I can see that more seasoned teachers could go in and be consultants. I like that idea. I do think that an email list is extremely important. I just think that there's more ways to build it than just an old-fashioned opt-in from a website.
Yeah.
I think that you could. I've been seeing people use these, I don't know if it's like a Stan store or Stan Me stores on Instagram and TikTok where you're talking about something in a video, it's getting shared thousands of times, and then people can opt in through that little link on your bio, and you're still getting their information. You're still building an email list. I just think that there's more ways to build than what we were taught, what we're used to. So I do think email lists could work if you wanted like consulting business, but I also think maybe just thinking outside the box on things like I've been seeing a lot of people like, so I kind of have a sick obsession with Amish people. I don't know if I told you that or not, but so anyone that might be like kind of in a cult, I'm just obsessed with them, right? I'm just like, "Ah, I love you." And so I fall, and even back in the day, I would only read a certain type of blogger. I don't want to say what they are right now and upset anyone. But anyway, so I'm kind of obsessed with this Amish lady. She left the Amish and she does these videos where all she does is she wears her Amish clothes still and she makes these Amish recipes. And while she's making them, she never blinks. And people are obsessed with her. Okay. And I kind of was like exploring, like, how does she make money? How does she do this? Because all she does is she does these really simple recipes and she's wearing her Amish clothes and she's just like, doesn't blink and she has millions of followers. This lady's really popular. She never has to work again. But the main way she makes money is she made a little cookbook. It's a digital cookbook of 200 recipes. She sells it for $45. So I was kind of thinking, as a teacher, you could kind of bundle your TPT products into sort of you know, a second grade recipe book for teachers, right? It wouldn't like if I was getting 50 or 60 or 100 lessons, I would pay 50, 60 bucks for that. Like if I was getting all these lessons in a big digital book, and maybe what teachers could do is kind of like the Amish lady that I'm obsessed with. Maybe they could sort of like, teach a little lesson or give a little antidote or a story or something about teaching, a quote, and then just be sure that they're constantly talking about if you want to learn more about this, check out my digital book in my bio. And and just think about having like, and I know we've had this probably talk a million times about bundling our entire stores into one. And so many people now are bundling their entire store, putting them on websites like Patreon or like a Google Drive, and then people pay for the link to that. And then there's so many people who are like, oh, you shouldn't do that, as then everyone will copy your stuff. But with thousands and thousands and thousands of teacher entrepreneurs out there, I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth having a couple copycats. If you're the one coming up with the content and people are watching you, then I think that you could do something like that and not really worry about, oh, everyone's going to steal my stuff. We got to get out of that frame of mind. I think Teachers Pay Teachers does have this nice place where it's like it is kind of hard to steal people's stuff because you got to buy it first, right? And so like someone could buy all your stuff and try to replicate what you're doing, but they can't replace your stories from the classroom. They can't replace your experience working with kids. They can't really replace all of your memories with things that worked. They could steal your stuff and try, but everybody I've seen do that is unsuccessful. So anyway, it's just an idea, and I just came up with this thinking about the Amish lady and her cookbooks, okay?
I want to see this now. You gave me another idea, which is just paying attention to what influencers are doing, like paying attention to how people are making money on like YouTube or TikTok or other platforms, like I guess just being curious about other people's sources of income. Um, what else? Like, what else should we do to prepare? I'm scared,
Well,
Jen.
I think just having, we just read this survey and it said on the survey 1,000 people took it. And I think 200 people were saying they don't try marketing of any kind. And I think just keeping your mind open to like the other forms of marketing out there, that you could be selling these items yourself through your own Stand Me store or website or Shopify store, right? You could be selling your products. Maybe just I wouldn't sell just a $3 product out there if you're gonna be paying a website to host your stuff, right? Like I'd be selling a little more expensive products, but you could be again watching the trends and figuring out like where else can I made this stuff. Where else can I sell it? There are places to sell it, and how do I sell other things? And just kind of staying in that loop, just like what you said.
Yeah, yeah. And even like approaching, I mean, this is scary, but approaching school districts to consult for them, reaching out to different schools, even within your community, to go in and, like help whatever your niche is, help the teachers within that school, help the principal. And I also think that developing lesson plans about AI to help teachers and students. But again, like AI is changing so fast, you're going to have to be ready to like go back and revise all of that to keep up with the new things that are coming out with AI, So,
I
and
also
I,
think
yeah.
I think people could maybe become like AI experts or like that human connection factor where you could start an entirely different business, like coming in and helping, say, maybe homeschool families. There's so many homeschool families out there that, and we have a lot in our district, and this is what we find in our district is a lot of people leave the public school system. they have their kids at home and then they realize, wow, teaching my kids at home is actually really hard. Like the curriculum doesn't always work. And then they bring their kids back to public schools. They just don't know what else to do. Like, I think there's a great need right now for teachers to kind of like be that bridge between learning in a public school setting and, what actually works for a kid to learn, right? Like you could be that bridge. You could consult with a school district, you could sell your own curriculum, or maybe you could be a bridge for parents. Like parents are a huge audience, and a lot of them do have money to spend, especially when it concerns their child learning how to read. That's usually everyone's number one, or learning the basic skills they need. Maybe you could be a bridge with just how can these parents navigate technology, navigate AI, and teach the basic skills, right? Like being that bridge with your expertise and knowledge. And I actually came up with that idea after listening to your podcast yesterday, Amanda. I was listening to all the AI stuff that you were talking about. Amanda has a really cool podcast called Empower Students Now.
Mhm.
Am I getting it right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was listening about the future of AI, what it looks like for kids, how we should be viewing it, how is it going to be helpful for kids? It's not going anywhere. So I think the overall idea was to sort of embrace the future we're all going to be a part of and figure out like how do we better help students and kids and families connect through all of this. And I think it's going to take human bodies teaching connection, and teachers are the best people on the planet at connecting things, connecting information, connecting people, connecting technology, connecting abstract ideas. Like we are connectors. And connectors, it sounds like from everything I was listening to in your podcast, the connection is going to be the key to the future. And maybe that's something that we could get a head start on.
I love that connection is the key to the future. Connection, human to human connection. And I want to shout out your podcast now because you gave me another idea. So I've been listening to your podcast, Happy Teacher, Healthy Teacher, and your podcast is so important and beneficial and valuable to teachers. It's like you're a therapist, like validating all the hard parts of teaching. And I think there's a niche for that too. And I'm just thinking like, could you pivot? Could you start a new business, where you're helping teachers, like coaching them? I mean, no, I don't have a therapist license or anything like that. Like, I'm not a psychologist, but you can, like, I've done a little bit of coaching with teachers, and a lot of the time when I had a membership, a lot of the times they just needed someone to listen to them. You know what I mean? Like just to be there and to listen and to witness, the emotions that they're feeling in that moment. And I think that there's a need for like, yeah, social, emotional learning and help and support. There's a huge need for mental health support of teachers and of parents and of kids. You know what I mean? So if you're someone who's really passionate about those things, I do think that that need is not going to go away. So yeah.
And maybe you could get sort of laser focus. That used to be a key buzzword back in the day. You could get laser focused on who do you want to help the most?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to help students? Do you want to help teachers? Because Teachers Pay Teachers is really about teachers helping other teachers be good teachers.
Hmm.
It's not always student focused because a lot of the lessons they don't really help all the students. So, who do you want to help? You want to help students? Do you want to help children and parents, families? Do you want to help teachers? Like, do you want to help school districts as a whole, or public education, or charter schools? I mean, there's so many different areas that you could focus on and maybe develop a bit of a niche. And I think when you have one, that it makes it a little easier to start making money on that or offer your services. And that's always my problem because I just love everyone. I'm like, I want to help everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But it's something to keep in mind that there are a lot of different these subpopulations of people that you could be helping that definitely are looking for help right now. I mean, the homeschool networks are exploding. So many people are leaving schools right now. It's almost a trend in some areas to leave. I know even like at my school, we have something like 8 or 9 charter schools, and then we have dozens of homeschool pods. And we're just happy to be open still as a public school because we're in this area where people are withdrawing from public school. But I see that also as kind of an opportunity for a teacher to be that person that is helping because I mean, they can't do it on their own, and you can't replace 10 or more years of experience in the classroom. It's a lot. Like, people don't understand what works for every kid. And you can basically walk into any household and sort of assess the situation, right? And kind of get a feel for what might work with that person because of your experience. So, anyways,
Well,
it's a lot of ideas.
yes, and I just want to say I am one of those parents that's homeschooling and has left. And one thing that I really need is other adults because my kid is not going to listen to me. And I think teachers who are homeschooling, they learn that like they probably avoid homeschooling because of that, right? Like they're like more likely to listen to another adult than to me, and so like tutoring is another option too, like that teacherpreneurs have. I mean, it's not, you're not going to make a lot of money, but maybe you'll start to make more money, as time goes on and people, more and more kids are leaving schools to be homeschooled. I think that is a, yeah, and I think researching areas that are growing, right? Areas where, like you said, that in the future, maybe TPT is declining, but like something else is increasing. And so just being aware of those niches. So are we going to wrap up now? I think we're both
Yes, I
feeling
think
very
this was an
worried.
excellent episode.
Me
Very good.
too. We're going to survive.
Namaste.
Namaste.